Well, hey there, Central Texas. Welcome to another episode of the B.A.D podcast, where we are talking about things after dark. Let's just say that some hot news topics that have been trending, or whatever you want to call it, but something just we just don't talk about during the traditional newscast. So we got a lot to get into today, and so happy that you are here with us. I got Dana with me today, and we're gonna chit chat a little bit. Now, Dana, I started on Texas Today, this thing where we're talking about like Wild West stories. We're talking about things that happened in our area, back in the day. So like a historical segment. While I was searching for things to put on the morning show, I stumbled across this topic and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so bad podcasty. So we are going to be talking about today Baylor University versus Playboy. We all know what Playboy is, right? I grew up during a time where, Playboy was digital. But, back in the day, I heard that, men, young boys had the Playboy magazines under their bed, in their top drawer. They had to hide it from mom or hide it from their wives, where they look at the most beautiful girls from across the country. Me growing up, Dana, Playboy was on TV, online. So, boys probably didn't have to hide it like they did, back in the day when Playboy and Hugh Hefner was super, super big. So, I want to start off by asking this question, okay? Because I saw this. Where do pretty girls come from? Well, apparently, back in 1980, Playboy thought that pretty girls come from Texas. So listen to this. I want to read this to you before we get into it, okay? So, Baylor University found itself at the center of a national controversy. National, I should say, back in 1980, after the magazine Playboy ran a regional photo feature that included Baylor students. So this is what happened on February 1st, 1980. Then President Abner V. McCall, he warned any Baylor woman who posed nude for Playboy that they could face a disciplinary action. So this move triggered a fierce disagreement, of course, across campus. So the tensions escalated when the student newspaper, the Baylor Lariat, and that's still very active today, it published editorials critical of the administration's stance, and the dispute reached a boiling point in March of 1980 when several editors from the newspaper, they were dismissed from the staff. So they lost their jobs on campus because of this. The controversy also produced individual disciplinary action. So one student said her graduation plans were jeopardized after she decided to pose for the magazine. And Baylor, they withheld diplomas. They pursued other sanctions later related to these incidents. So this became a touchstone in debates over student freedom, university code of conduct, and the role of a faith-based institution and policying off-campus expression. So I do want to say, like, back in those days too, like in 1980 and the 70s, you couldn't even dance on Baylor campus. That was forbidden. So that just brings up a conversation, right? You go to the school, but are you always representing the university? Is it bad to pose in Playboy magazine? What do you think, Dana? Tell me what you think. Is it? Oh, just give me your thoughts first.
Okay, so I think it is touchy and
Very
tricky,
touchy.
but for me personally, I have always been someone who always does what they want to do. So this is a hard thing for me because I understand where the guidelines fall for the university, and
Right.
you want to uphold those standards and you would want everyone to follow.
Okay.
But then again, the people who are at the school are individuals at the end of the day, and they have the right to do whatever they want, whether it's right or wrong. It doesn't matter. And I am all for the women liberation movement, no matter what it is. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So if these women felt a need to do this, which, I mean, more power to you. Like, I love it. Like, I think it's also, now at that time, did women know that they could take control of their bodies? Probably not how we do today. You know what I mean? Things are still new, you're still figuring stuff out, but I think this was a good introduction into that. And then now we really own our bodies, and we own our individuality, we own our sexuality. So this was, I think, a good thing. And also for conservative women, like in the sense that their identity does not fall with a man or with their religion. It falls with them and whatever they want to do. So I think this was a good move to do that and to stand up and show that, hey, like, even though I do go to this school and I like this school and I do have these values and I do align with them, I can still do this with my body. That's just how I feel.
No, I agree with you 100%. It's so hard to separate, though, your individuality and what you represent.
Right.
So I am a news anchor, and I work for KCEN. If I wanted to do something such as pose in Playboy, not the news anchor me, but the personal Jasmin Caldwell me, it's very hard to separate the two.
It is, yeah.
So I'm like you. I get it, but I don't get the whole, forbidding people from graduating and things like that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with posing for Playboy, especially back in those days. Like, the Playboy bunnies were huge. All the girls wanted to be a Playboy bunny. Well, some girls wanted to be a Playboy bunny. They wanted to be in the magazine. But I do feel like it is hard, because once you pose in the magazine, right? We're back in the 1980s. I pose in this magazine. They're going to label it as, maybe like a Baylor bunny, or, they're going to use the name Baylor.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe the president was trying to prevent that from happening, not using the name or the likeness of the school when you pose, because they were looking for, like, college girls. And so, of course, you're going to name what college that, she went to. That's the whole thing. And you're gonna make it seem like, oh, well, there's beautiful women on the campus of Baylor University. And I did read that some people were saying that, like, this is a good thing for Baylor, because now everybody's gonna enroll because there's pretty women there. So it's very hard to separate the two. But being in Playboy, it could either launch or limit your career, because there were girls who posed in the magazine and their career took off. I've seen a lot of documentaries. I used to watch this thing called the Playboy Murders magazine, and it would talk about women who posed for Playboy and the horrible life they had afterwards. Like, some women were or killed by men who were obsessed with them. Some women just started doing drugs because they were living that life, and they got hooked on cocaine and meth and all that, and their life just went downhill. Some women became Hollywood stars because of posing in Playboy. So it really can launch or limit your career. So it's one of those things where it's like, woo. But it's crazy, though, that back in 1980, Baylor was making national news because of Playboy. So I agree with you, Dana. I'm on the fence. I don't know, like, I'm for and against it at the same time, because how are you going to pose in a magazine without them using Baylor's name all throughout the article? So, but do I think that those girls needed to not graduate? But it's some crazy history here in this area. So when I saw that one, I was like, what? Wild, wild, wild. So yeah, so the problem, I don't know. Some girls did do it. Some didn't. I would like to talk to those girls now. Like, was it worth it? After all these years later. Was it worth it?
Like, what did, in a positive way, or like a not secure, but like, I would want to see their spread, but not like exposing, I should say. So like exposing their bodies, like, but what did they wear? You know what I mean? Like, what did the fashion? Because like you mentioned at the beginning, Playboy was a thing that people kept in their drawers. Like it was this big thing. But when I was coming up, that was not a thing anymore. We're not that far apart in age, but it's a stark difference.
Oh, for sure.
So I would want to see how has the lingerie fashion evolved over time, but then what did they wear? Did they say, no, I'm not wearing that, or yes, I want to wear this, or like did they have total autonomy over what the spread looked like? You know?
Well, for the most part, they were fully nude.
Fully nude. Okay.
Fully nude. And there were some parts of the magazines that was more risky, like where they were fully nude and they were exposing everything. And there were just some that was a little more like they may have just showed their top parts.
Yeah. Okay.
But for the most part, no.
Oh, okay.
They were nude.
Oh, okay.
They were nude.
Yes, I would love to have them on and just hear what they would have to say, because I think it's fascinating and it's interesting. It's just different, you know?
Yeah, it definitely. I don't know, like if I had the opportunity, and this is just as a person, college me, if I had the opportunity to pose in Playboy Magazine, young me probably would have done it. Me today, absolutely not. But you know, when you're young, you're thinking different. Like I'm thinking, oh my gosh, all the money I could make, the things, my life would change forever. Every man will desire me. So just the thought is a little bit different. Young me probably so. Yep. But Jasmin Caldwell today?
Yeah.
Heck no.
That's a different person.
That's a different person.
I don't know. I think I definitely would. Like, I just would, because I think it'd be a fun experience. Going off of that, that's kind of similar, is a Victoria's Secret angel, because you're still, like, you just embody this powerful, like, bad woman. You know what I mean? Like, you take on a new persona. You become someone new, you know? And I think that is also, again, liberation, finding more out about yourself. Like, what does this mean for me? How does this shape me into who I am? I would love to do both of those. I think that would be so much fun.
I know that's right, Dana. Girl power. Woo.
I hope my grandma is not watching this.
She's like, what?
Yeah, she's going to call me, Dana, I know you didn't know that. And I'm like, well, sorry.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
All right, Dana. So, are you hungry?
I'm always hungry. Sorry. Turn my mic back on for that. Always hungry.
Okay, so Dana, you're from North Texas. So this next topic that I want to talk about comes from your neck of the woods, comes from your area. So there was a study in North Texas with daters, single people looking for dates. A lot of them, they use a dating app. It's something called foodie calls, okay? It's where one person accepts a date primarily for a free meal rather than a genuine interest. So more than a third of users reported being financially exploited this way, even when plans to split costs were discussed. So it's a modern dating culture phenomenon that brings up trust, boundaries, and expectations. So let me just say this. As a woman, me and my friends talk about this a lot. I will say I have been that woman who went out with a man just because I was hungry. I'm going to give you an example.
And I'm going to clap for that. Right.
I'm going to give you, thank you, Dana. I'm going to give you an example. I graduated from college. My first job in TV news, I was making $8 an hour. I moved from Omaha, Nebraska to Tallahassee, Florida. Dominic is booing me back there. But Dominic, you don't see him on camera. He's filming, but he is booing me. Dominic, please let me explain. I was desperate. I was desperate.
How much was he making?
Okay, I don't know how much he was making. He had a nice car, so I was just judging him by his car.
But he was making enough to take both of you out. So let's make that known.
He had a car with butterfly doors. Like,
baby.
Instead of the
Dominic,
car door
quiet.
opening, they went like, they went up like that. So I was like, oh, he got something.
Oh, so, wait, how old was he? How old was he?
I was,
not you.
when you okay, hold on. He was about 27.
Oh, okay.
And I was about 23. What's that when you graduate college? About 23?
Yeah.
I was about 23 and he was about 27.
There's no way he bought that car.
Dominic is hating.
Dominic is saying he did not buy the car, but the doors alone, Dominic, putting butterfly doors on a car. So yes, young Jasmine was judging this man by the car that he drove. Yes, I was. So here's what happened. So I was broke. I was making $8 an hour, and I was not attracted to him. He was not the kind of guy I would take home to mom, but he always wanted to go out to eat. And I was down every single time. We went one time. I was a little bit embarrassed. We went to the Olive Garden, and we pull up next to this, this nice, well-off family. They look like they were some good people. And we get out the car. Remember, these are butterfly doors, and they go up this way. And he had those big rims on them. Yeah. So he took me out to eat all the time, and I knew I wasn't interested, but I faked it until I made it. You know what I mean? Like he was nice. He was nice, but I just knew I wasn't interested. There were times where he was like, "Hey, are you home? I can drop some groceries off at your house." And I took the groceries. I was hungry and broke. What was I supposed to do?
Get your bag.
Absolutely. So me and my friends talk about this all the time. There has been other instances where you do, but you're not rude to the person. You're not rude at all. You're there to provide good conversation and just a good time. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to get married. I'm just really, really hungry, and I will be of good company to you right now. That's it. I'm guilty, okay?
Guilty of nothing, honestly, in my book. It's a means to an end at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
You $8, like when you said that, I made $8 when I worked at Chick-fil-A when I was 15.
Uh-huh.
You was 23 making it.
Yes.
Yeah. You need
fresh out of college.
You need money. You need to eat. Eating is a necessity, and by however way you can get it, you get it.
Absolutely.
You have to.
Absolutely. And nothing ever happened between us. I mean, he was a good friend. Like, it never went any further than that. I think he could kind of sense that I wasn't attracted to him. So I don't think I've ever, I never kissed him. It never went any further. It was just like, and then, sad to say, when I did find someone who I was interested in and got myself a little boyfriend, down there in Florida, yeah, I did stop talking to him. It just kind of fizzled out because my attention was on someone else.
And you didn't, to me, from what I hear, it doesn't seem like you led him on.
Mm-mm.
It was, like you said, it was just good company, and you just happened to go eat together just often. Mm-hmm. And he offered to buy you groceries. You know what I mean? Like, these were things that you, at the end of the day, you still needed to eat. You still needed to, sure, yes. But, when you are, in a new city, a new job, you have to pay that rent, you have to do all these kind of things. It adds up quick. And $8 an hour is nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So, Dominic, whatever, who cares? Sorry. But she had to do what she needed to do at that time.
And there are some people, I get it. There are some people who look at this and they're like, that's rude because you're leading people on. If you agree to go out to eat with a man or a woman, whatever, they probably are thinking they're going to get to know you better, and maybe this could lead to a relationship or something like that, and feelings get hurt. So I understand where people are saying this is wrong. If you have no interest in this person, just don't go. I get that as well. But once again, when you're hungry, you do crazy things. Now, would I do it now? No, because I got a refrigerator full of food. And
well, you're a grown woman at this point,
and I can buy myself groceries, So would I do it now? No, but I have been guilty of doing that. So me right along with those North Texas folks, yeah.
And then also it depends where you are, because up there there's a million and one places to eat, and in Florida there's so many places to eat, like it. And that's what sucks. Like, I love living up there. I love being from there. But there are more places to eat than there are activities to do.
Okay.
And your activity up there is to eat. My parents eat all the time. Like, that's just how it's also how we spend time, and it's how we love each other. It's we go out to eat, we pay for each other. You know what I mean?
Over a meal.
Right. It's a shared experience. You know what I mean? And So that's why I don't find it a big deal. But I think people who aren't used to going out so much might find it
Yeah.
being like rude. But you could also, if you go out a lot, you could also find it rude because,
Yeah.
it's like you didn't pay for this. So why, like, you kept going. You know what I mean? Like, you never shout out any type of money.
Right.
But
You know what? And then there are people I've seen on social media where they're picky, right? So this is a free meal. Just eat the meal, because there are some people who I wasn't this bad. They may want to go to a fancy restaurant. They may want to go somewhere that is going to cost $50 to $100 per plate, like, knowing that you don't like this guy or girl. The audacity of you. Like I said, we were going to just like Olive Garden and Applebee's.
yeah.
I'll take whatever. I'm hungry, but I wouldn't dare, force a guy to take me to a fancy restaurant and spend a lot of money on me, knowing what the outcome is going to be. Because there are people like that who are just purely taking advantage. And I mean, I don't even know if I can even say that with a straight face, because I did the same thing. Whatever, but
I know what you mean.
It doesn't money. It doesn't have to be a fancy restaurant. Let me just say that.
You didn't have any negative connotation or negative like there was no. There was just no bad, but there's no ill intent behind what you were doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It was two things. You were hungry, you needed food, but also it was a company. So it was killing two birds with one stone,
For sure.
And then also, real quick, sorry, because you said that. So I'm reading on Psychology Today, and so they said that in the study they tested a hypothesis about the characteristics of people who would engage. And these are people who basically had negative like characteristics, and so they called it the dark triad, which is Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and narcissism. So some of those people who did indulge in foodie calls, they had this, you know what I mean? And the first one, Machiavellianism, however you want to say that, it says these people manipulate and deceive others for their own benefit. And in psychopathy, these people lack empathy for the plight of others and feel no remorse for their own harmful actions. And then obviously narcissism is that you just do it because you feel entitled to do it. You know what? You feel worthy. You know what I mean? You don't care.
Yeah.
Which isn't not saying that they're sociopaths. Some people, some sociopaths have narcissism, but it's you just doing it because, yeah.
Those are all negative characteristics.
Yeah. So that's why I'm
thinking about myself.
Right.
Like, oh gosh.
So no, from what you were saying, there was nothing ill intent behind that whatsoever. But I just thought that was interesting. Is that people who are doing this, researchers are seeing that
Yeah, for
they're shiesty.
Yeah, okay, well, that was Jasmin in her 20s. I was a whole different woman. Jasmin in her 30s is very mature and kind and loving.
Yes, she is.
Please forgive me, Central Texas.
But look, I would say you can own your faults, and you can realize and look back and reflect and be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, or yeah, I did do that. You know what I mean? It makes you a good person. It makes you, it makes you better.
Absolutely.
Better than some people who won't.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, foodie calls, that was a new one for me. I was like, a foodie call. Okay, well, hey, listen, if you are doing those foodie calls, you make sure that person know. I'm not interested in a relationship. I just want to have a good time. Let's go out to eat. And maybe pay that person back sometimes, too. For every 4 or 5 meals, you buy a meal. Just kidding. I know. Dominic, I'm sorry. All right, Dana. So, did we get a question from Crystal? Okay, we did not get a bad topic, a bad advice question, but we will definitely have that on our next episode of the Bad Podcast. Hey, listen, this has been great conversation tonight. Hopefully you learned something here in Central Texas. Hopefully you learned something about the past with Baylor University and Playboy. Would you pose for Playboy today? Would you think about that? Maybe young you would have, but would you today pose for Playboy? And also, foodie calls. If you know what that is, we just went over it. Be nice to people. Be kind. And don't take advantage of people and their finances for some free food. If you're hungry, cook something, or there's all kind of free food out here for you guys to have. But don't take advantage of anyone's kindness. They may really like you, and you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Well, that's all for the Bad Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you will join us next time. We hope you have a great night.